I've got a beer. Hello from the absolutely stunning, beautiful island of Ko Phangan. I'm currently looking at the most beautiful blue ocean. It's amazing, but the sun looks weird when I try to film with that in the background. So instead you get this beautiful old hut, which I think maybe used to be a bar, but this beach is fully deserted. Which brings me to the purpose of this video. What is Ko Phangan like right now for tourism? And basically in a word, or maybe in two words, not great. I mean, it's such a different island than what it was 2 years ago. Don't get me wrong, most places in the world are very different to what they were like 2 years ago. Basically, what's Ko Phangan like right now? It's quiet, which could be a good thing. But the problem is, it's an island that is 100% made for tourists, or at least has really developed over the last 10 years to be just for tourists. When all the tourists aren't here, it just feels hollow and empty. It's a shame. I think that's probably going to change over the next few months as more and more people come here, but it's not really floating my boat, I guess you could say. I don't know, maybe it's a good time to come, maybe it's a terrible time to come. I think that just depends on what you want and what kind of traveler you are. That's really not very helpful, but let me just break it down for you. If you're thinking of going to Ko Phangan, I'm going to tell you all about our experiences here. We've now been here for 8 days. We've stayed on one side of the island near the pier. Now we're staying on the other side of the island, which is a bit more quiet and resorty. We've checked out a bunch of different neighborhoods. We've scooted around the whole island. We've gotten the vibe for it. So I definitely have a few opinions about the island, and now that testing goes back open and Sandbox is back open and more people are coming to Thailand, which I definitely encourage, I'm just going to share my thoughts on Ko Phangan as a tourist destination. A couple months ago I made a video about how I found Thailand for tourism in December, and I mean, I still kind of stand by what I said. It's more quiet. There are still tourists around. It's a perfect time to come. It's definitely the perfect time to put money back into the economy. I mean, obviously, as long as you're traveling safely and not being an idiot, wearing your mask, getting your PCR test, getting your temperature checked, etc., etc. But the thing is, most other places that we've visited, like Chiang Mai, Phuket, Koh Lipe, Koh Yanoi, Bangkok, Ayutthaya, all of those places are still frequented by Thai tourists, like a lot of domestic tourism. Whereas islands like Ko Phangan, and I assume places like PP Islands, these islands are just for tourists, like just for international tourism, which is great when there isn't a global pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So this island is so quiet. So when we stayed on the pier side of the island, we were near Tongsala Pier, which I would say is probably the most touristy area. It was pretty busy. I mean, definitely nothing compared to years gone by. When we spoke to people who live here or who were there then, they're like, well, this is so quiet. A lot of bars have closed, a lot of restaurants have closed. There are signs up for parties from like February 2020 that just never happened, and then the posters just were never taken down. We drove over to the beach where the full moon and half moon parties are, and it was depressing. Like, all of the bars that you could tell used to be like the coolest place to be on the island. I mean, if you were 20 and you wanted to drink buckets of alcohol, the coolest bar on the island just closed, filled with leaves, broken windows, signs torn down. I don't know. I know that they are doing full moon and half moon parties again. Like, they're just starting them up now in February, and like, you've got to be fully vaxxed or have a negative PCR test to do it. But it just does not have the energy that it used to have. It's like the entire island is made for international tourists, but when it's only at like 10 to 20% capacity, it just feels sad and desolate, because I mean, I'm not really here to go to beach bars and drink. I'm here to just like get the vibe of Thailand. So maybe that's my fault for coming here. Maybe I should have stuck to like less touristy islands. I don't know. For example, we spent maybe 3 weeks in Chiang Mai, and we absolutely loved it there because it was full of locals, and it was full of Thai tourists, and it was full of international tourists who were there to like travel Thailand. Meanwhile, we come here and it's just full of like British and European 20-year-olds, which is completely fine. But maybe it's because I'm 30 and I'm more about having like a couple of beers in the afternoon and then going to bed at 9 p.m. I don't know. Maybe that's what the vibe is that I'm missing. Like, I was just chatting to someone and he was saying that he had 3 friends who left here, went to Chiang Mai, and then immediately hated Chiang Mai and came back here because they were 18 years old and they just wanted to party. So maybe it's kind of like depends on what you want to do, what kind of traveler you are. But I think it's just good to know before you come that it's not a party island quite like it used to be. but it's not an off-the-grid relaxing island either. I think if you wanted something like that, you're better off going to Koh Yanoi. We went there for a week and loved it. Koh Yai as well. Maybe some parts of Koh Lanta, maybe some parts of Koh Samui. I'm not too sure. But yeah, Penang just isn't doing it for me. Like, it's really good to be able to go to the beach and there's no one there. It's really good to be able to go to a waterfall, go to a snorkel spot and have it to yourself. But I don't know. I'm not loving this island. I'm totally not making this video to be a downer. I just would have loved to know this kind of stuff before I came because, yeah, if you're coming here to party, great. I think you're going to love it. If you're coming here to stay in a hostel and meet people and you're in your 20s, perfect. It's the best place to come. You're not going to spend too much money. You're going to have a good time. You're going to meet people. That fly, can you not? If you're a little bit older or if you're looking for a more of like a chill, relaxing place to be or more of an authentic Thai place to be, I'd say skip Ko Phangan. Maybe try somewhere else. Again, I'm not trying to be negative here. I think people will come here and have a great time, but I just wanted to share what we are thinking and feeling about the island. Thank you for watching. If you have had a different experience in Ko Phangan, I'd love to hear it. If you have more recommendations for things to do, I'd also love to hear it. Whack it in the comments below. Let's share our experiences here because I could be totally wrong. I could be totally off base and no one shares my viewpoint here. But that's what I'm thinking and feeling. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all of you.